यमुना तीर वनचारी, मुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन बल्लभा गिरवरधारी, जय गोपी जन बल्लभा वरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना, यशोदा दन ब्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरो वनचारी, मुना तीरो वनचारी। जय राधा माधव जय बिहारी, जय राधा माधव जय बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा ना कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा गिरिधरी, राधा गिरिधरी राधे, जय राधा गिरिधरी राधा गिरिधरी राधे। जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे, जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे। जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे, जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे। जय राधे जय राधे, जय राधे जय श्री राधे। जय राधे जय राधे, जय राधे जय श्री राधे। निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग, निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग, निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग, निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव गुरुदेव। जय जय गुरुदेव, जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव गुरुदेव। जय जय गुरुदेव। गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल, हरि बोल नित्या गौरा हरि बोल, नित्या गौ हरि बोल हरि बोल, हरि बोल नित्या गौरा हरि बोल। शेष राधा गिरधारी की जय, श्री बलदेव सुभद्रा जगन्नाथ की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय, गिरिराज गोवर्धन महाराज की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirya. Srivantam swakata Krishna punya sarvanam kirtanam Hidayantasto haya bhadrani Vidunoti shuti satam Nashta prayasya bhadreshu Nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttam shloke Bhaktir bhavati nastiki. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Nar Narayan, Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasdev, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome in the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Prabhuji, give me the Lilamrit praise.
So, Prabhu, is it visible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So you can start. It is chapter 39, and the heading is I will build a wonderful temple for you, and the page number is 85. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, you can continue.
Okay.
Please.
From in the month. In the month while Prabhupada was away from Bombay, he had left on February 10th. The payment for 50,000 rupees was duly made. Slowly at first, a few devotees moved to the Juhuland, living in a tent. At night, the rats and mosquitoes would disturb the devotees' sleep. While attempting to clear the overgrown weeds, they came upon empty liquor bottles and overflowing sewage. Without Prabhupada present, their resolution grew weak. But then Brahman and Swami returned from Calcutta, where he had been with Srila Prabhupada. Brahman and Swami was inspired and he gave the Bombay devotees new impetus. They would have to clear the land and raise a pandal right away. Brahmanand Swami had never put on a pandal program before. What is this? But he hired a contractor to build several chatai front houses for the devotees and a festival tent. Even before the construction could begin, however, the devotees would have to thoroughly clear the land. Mr. Sethi, a neighbor and life member, hired a work crew to cut down the weeds and vegetation, and several life members and friends in Bombay who came forward to assist. Mr. N offered to help by sending one of his assistants, Mr. Matar, to organize the hired laborers and clearing the fields. The devotees also worked in preparation for Prabhupada's return. Sri Sri Radha Ras Bihari arrived at Hare Krishna land in a taxi, riding across the laps of several devotees. They had moved before, and this time their residence was a tent. They had first come to be with the devotees of the Bombay during the Pandal program at Cross Maidan. in downtown Bombay. On that occasion, there had been a procession to Chaupati beach, and when the devotees had arrived, Radha Ras Bihari, beautifully dressed and decorated and installed in an ornate palki, had been awaiting them. Krishna was white marble and held a silver flute. Radharani's right hand, palm forward, extended in benediction. They were beautiful. Is that all, Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Welcome back to Srimad Bhagavatam classes, the morning program. Today's reading is text 27 of chapter 19, description of the island of Jambudvip, and is part of Canto 5, the creative impetus. Today I'll read word by word and pause so that those people who are reluctant to participate in reciting or reading the Bhagavatam could get the pronunciations correctly. So I'll say a word and pause so you can repeat. You don't need to turn on the mic. Satyam distaye artitam artito nirnam. Next line. Naivartado yat punar artita yataha swayam vidyate bhajatam anichita sorry, should be anichitam ichapidam ichapidhanam nij pad pallavam Satyam diste artitam artito nirnam naivartido yata punar artita yataha swayam vidyate bhajatam anichitam ichapidhanam nijapada pallavam. Satyam diste artitam artito nirnam naivartado yata punar nirtata yataha स्वयं विद्यते भजताम अचिंतताम इच्छापिदानम निज पाद पल्लवम. Okay, could someone repeat, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji,
Yeah,
I'm trying.
no problem.
Satyam dishattarthitam arthito ninam naivarthado yat punararthita yataha swayam vidate bhajatam anichchatam ichha pidhanam nijapada pallavam. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji,
Hare
Dandavad.
Krishna, Dandavad. Anybody
Hare Krishna
else?
Prabhuji,
Priya
Dandavat Pranam.
Mataji, Dandavad.
Satyam dishatyorthitamorthito ninam noivarthado yat punarorthita yataha swayam vidhatte bhajatam anichchatam ichha pidhanam nijapada pallavam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavad Pranam Mataji.
Satyam dishtayarthitam arthito nirnam naivarthato yate punarthita yatha swayam vidhate bhajatam achichatam ichha pidhanam nijpad pallavam. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanma Pranam.
Dhanvat
I will
Prabhuji.
also try.
Yeah, sure.
Satyam disati arthitam arthato nirmamam nirnam
Nirnanam.
naiva. Sorry,
Nirnan.
Prabhu.
Nirnam.
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 Yeah.
Naiva yato puna arthita yatha swam vidat bajatam anichitam ichhapi dhanam anajapada pallavam. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Two words, Prabhuji. Second line, Naivarta do. And the last one is Chapidhanam.
Ichhapi dhanam.
Yeah.
Naiva. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Anybody else? Haribol. Anybody else? Okay, synonyms. Satyam, certainly. Dissate, he offers. Artitam, the object prayed for. Artitaha, being prayed for. Nirnam, by the human beings. Na, not, ev, indeed. Artada, the bestower of benedictions. Yat, which, punah, again, artita, a demand for a benediction. Yataha, from which, satyam, personally. Vidyate, he gives. Bhajatam, unto those engaged in his service. Anichitam, although not desiring it. Ichha, Ichhapidhanam, which covers all desirable things. Nijapada Pallavam, his own lotus feet. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The personality of Godhead fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approaches him with such motives. Sorry, I think I forgot to share. Nobody reminded me. Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approaches him with such motives. But he does not bestow benedictions upon the devotee that will cause him to demand more benedictions again. However, the Lord willingly gives the devotee shelter at his own lotus feet, even though such a person does not aspire for it. And that shelter satisfies all his desires. That is the Supreme Personality's special message. Purport. The devotees mentioned in this previous verse approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead with material motives. But this verse explains how such a devotee are saved from those desires. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, Text 10, advises akamana seva kamo va moksha kama udhar dehe tiverna bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Whether one is freed from all material desires, is full of material desires, or desires to become one with Supreme, he should engage in devotional service. In this way, not only the devotee's desires be fulfilled, but the day will come when he will have no other desires than to save the lotus feet of the Lord. One who engages in the service of the Lord with some motive is called a Sakam Bhakta. And one who serves the Lord without any motives is called a Akam Bhakta. Krishna is so merciful that he turns a Sakam Bhakta into an Akam Bhakta. A pure devotee, an Akam Bhakta, who has no material motives, is satisfied simply to save the lotus feet of the Lord. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, text 6, chapter 6, text 22. Yam labdhava chaparam labham manyate nadikam tataha. If one engages in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, he does not want anything more. This is the highest stage of devotional service. The Lord is so kind even to a Sakam Bhakta, a motivated devotee, that he finally satisfies his desires in such a way that one day he becomes a Akam Bhakta. Dhruv Maharaj, for example, became a Bhakta with the motive of getting better kingdom than that of his father. But finally he became an Akam Bhakta and said to the Lord, Swamin kritato asmin varam nach yache. My dear Lord, I am very satisfied simply to save your lotus feet. I do not want any material benefits. Sometimes it is found that a small child eats dirty things, but his parents take away the dirty things and offer him a sandesh or some other sweetmeat. Devotees who aspire for material benedictions are compared to such children. The Lord is so kind that he takes away their material desire and gives them the highest benediction. Therefore, even for material motives, one should not worship anyone other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One must fully engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord so that all his desires will be fulfilled and at the end he can go back home, back to Godhead. This is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 27, text 37 to 39 and 41 as follows. Anyakami, a devotee who may desire something other than service to the lotus feet of the Lord. Yadi kare Krishna bhajan, but if he engages in Krishna's service, na mangete hai Krishna tare dina swacharan. Krishna gives him shelter at his lotus feet, even though he does not aspire for it. Krishna kahe, the Lord says, Ama bhaje, he is engaged in my service, mange visay sukha, but he wants the benefit of material sense gratification. Amrita chade visay mange. Such a devotee is like a person who asks for poison instead of nectar. Yei bada murkha. This is his foolishness. Ami Vijnanam, but I am inexperienced. E murke vishe kena diva. Why should I give such a foolish person the dirty things of material enjoyment? Swacharnamrita, it would be better for me to give him shelter at my lotus feet. Visaya bhulaibha. I shall cause him to forget all material desires. Kamalagi Krishna bhaje. If one engages in the service of the Lord for sense gratification, Pai Krishna Rase, the result is that he ultimately gets a taste of this for saving the lotus feet of the Lord. Kama chari, dasa haite hai avilase. He then gives up all material desires and wants to become an eternal servant of the Lord. नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते लोकनाथ स्वामिनीति नामने नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनीति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जन शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्री चैतन्य मनोविष्णु स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सागन रघुनाथन्वितं तं सजीवं सद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहित कृष्ण चैतन्य देव श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सागना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपीश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते जयतम श्रुतो पंगोर मम मंदमतेर गति मत सर्वस्पदम भोज राधा मदन मोहन तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये पांचकल्पातरुभयश्च कृपा सिंधु भयो च पतितनां पावन भयो वैष्णव्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna once again and welcome everyone to our morning Srimad Bhagavatam classes. Today's slok is Canto 5, Chapter 19, Text 27. Satyam disate artitam artito narinam naivarta dho yat punar artita yataha swayam vidyate bhajatam achintatam Ichchapidhanam Nijapad Pallavam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approaches him with such motives, but he does not bestow benedictions upon the devotee that will cause him to demand more benedictions again. However, the Lord willingly gives the devotee shelter at his own lotus feet, even though such a person does not desire for it, and that shelter satisfies all his desires. That is the Supreme Personality's special message. I'll quickly recap what since last week. Remember, verse 2019, the uniqueness of the Bharatvarsh was given. Sukdev Goswami explains that Bharatvarsh, which is known as the eighth planet, is uniquely blessed because human beings here can perform karma and jnana, and especially bhakti. Even the demigods desire birth here because only in Bharatvarsh can one accumulate spiritual merit that leads to liberation. Next one is human life in Bharatvarsh is meant for tapasya, austerity, self-discipline and devotional service. Tapasya, self-discipline and devotional service. By performing this, one can purify the heart and attain the Supreme Lord. So the three things: tapasya, austerity, self-discipline and devotional service. Remember the purpose of human life, which is given in verse 21. Human life in Bharatvarsh is meant for, I'm repeating that, the rare opportunity of human birth. Sukdev Goswami emphasizes that a human birth in Bharatvarsh is extremely rare and should not be wasted. It is the only place where one can deliberately cultivate pure devotion and transcend material existence. Last, it also explains that in other planets there are lots of enjoyment, so people tend to forget about the enjoyment or the lower planets, a lot of suffering. Again, we suffer so much that we tend to forget about liberation. The demigods pray to be born in Bharatvarsh because only there or here can one experience karma phala, result of actions, and thus learn to surrender to the Lord. which simply means whatever karma you do, what we do, we get the benefits. So good karmas, indicating that good karmas, so devotional service will bring us closer to the Lord. Their own heavenly lives, the demigods' own heavenly lives are too comfortable to inspire for initiation. They get busy enjoying things and the comfort, and they forget about liberation. Sukadeva Goswami states that liberation is achieved through devotional service performed in Bharatvarsha. Even if one performs imperfectly, the Lord protects the devotee and ensures his spiritual progress. Like even today's West, even if you aspire for material desires, the Lord eventually gives the benefits of devotional service, saving his lotus feet. The Lord incarnates in Bharatavarsha again and again to uplift conditional souls. Because of these avatars of incarnations, people here have direct access to the Lord's teachings, pastimes, and mercy. So that's another advantage of the reasons why the Bharatvarsha is got a special privilege, because here the Lord incarnates, and like in Bhagavad Gita, we get the direct teaching, and also there are direct teachings in Bhagavatam, Canto 11 and 12. That's his direct teachings there as well. All the other cantos talk about or mentions his pastimes and other devotees, but Canto 11, he directly gives instructions. And last verse, Sukadeva Goswami explains that bhakti performed in Bharatvarsha leads not only to liberation but to external service, eternal service in the spiritual world. No other versa offers, no other island or place, planet offers this combination of opportunity and divine intervention. So it's us making an attempt and the Lord giving us the benediction. And this slok concludes by affirming that Bharatvarsha is the gateway to spiritual perfection. Those who take advantage of this human birth and engage in devotional service, the highest goal, but those who waste it fall back into the cycle of birth and death. Last week, I was asked if whether Bharatvarsha means India or the whole Earth planet. So I've got some references here that I like to tell people. It's mainly, it's got both. Some places it means the Earth planet, the whole planet, and in some places it means the whole Brahman. Oh, sorry, means the means India specifically. Like in the last week's verse, Srila Prabhupada purports, that's in Canto 5, chapter 19. Prabhupada's purport refers to Bharatvarsha as India, and he points out that the demigods aspire to take birth here. The other thing also mentioned that there's mentioned that Bharatvarsha, all the rivers that are in India, in Bharatvarsha, and the mountains. So there's another example where Bharatvarsha simply means India. In Canto 2, chapter 7, text 1, again in purport, this earth planet is identified with Bharatvarsha, and a similar reference is also made in Canto 1, chapter 12, text 20. Canto 3, chapter 18, text 19, again in Prabhupada's purport, points out that the eighth planet was once known as Ilavarta, Ilavarta Varsha, but when Maharaj Parikshit ruled the eighth, it was called Bharatvarsha. The idea that Bharatvarsha once referred to the eighth, entire eighth, is also indicated in Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter 22, text 36, where Prabhupada suggests, on the basis of Puranic references, that Brazil, rather than Ceylon, was Ravan's kingdom. That's an interesting one. In Canto 1, chapter 12, text 5, the eighth ruled by Maharaj Yudhishthir is referred to as Jambu Dvipa. And in Canto 4, chapter 12, text 16, the eighth ruled by Dhruv Maharaj is referred as Bhumandal itself. Going further, Canto 5, chapter 1, text 22 states that Maharaj Priyavarta ruled all the planets of the universe, Akhil Dharchi Mandal, and Srila Prabhupada points out that it is difficult for us to understand just where Maharaj Priyavarta was situated. In previous yugas, larger regions of the Bhumandal were accessible and people experienced a correspondingly larger eighth. Thus, in Maharaj Yudhishthir's time, at the end of Dwapar Yuga, people had access to the entire region of Jambudvip, and people living in the Satyug during the reign of Dhruv Maharaj had access to the whole Bhumandal. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that the peasants from the various dvipas of Bhumandal visited the home of Lord Chaitanya disguised as human beings. To these peasants, it is presumably still natural to think of the eighth as Bhumandal. I'll quote this is extract from Satya Swarup Maharaj's book. Let me share this. I don't know how much you can see on your phone. If you are, where is it got?
You're sharing, Prabhu?
I'm trying to.
Okay.
Let me get this sharing out. Okay. You may have seen this. Can you see that?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So it's Vedic Hindu. That's from his book, Vedic Hindu Cosmology. You see the eighth planet is Jambudvip, is right in the center. Then is Swargalok and Swahalok, Mahalok, Jana and Tapalok. Brahmalok is Tapalok. And then below the eighth planet of Jambudvip are the lower planets, Atal, Vital, Sutal, and Mahatal, Patal. Lord. That's explains. I've got another one. This one is common, which a lot of us must have seen that. I'm not sure whether I've clarified. It is in summary. It is some places in the literature, not just Bhagavatam, in other places, but Puranas. Bharatvarsha refers to the whole eighth planet, but late in mainly in Bhagavatam, most of the places is referred to India and we can safely conclude that because it mentions the rivers that are mentioned in that are in Bharatvarsh are mainly or are all in India, and the mountains too. So that's another evidence that Bharatvarsh means India. So going down to today's sloka, even if you don't have, if you are not an Akam Bhakta, you got to make a start somewhere. Unless we make a start with our devotional service, we can't reach, can't achieve anything. A lot of times you must have experienced that when we ask people to even chant the Mahamantra, they are common response is that I'll do it when I leave all the nonsense. It's not never gonna happen. You got to make a start. Mahamantra is so powerful that it will eradicate all the problems or the nonsense we are attached to. So it's a short one today. And any questions or comments, please? I hope Prabhu, Tulsi Seva Prabhu, did that clarify your question?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you, Prabhu.
Anybody else? Any comments? Okay, then let's review the sloka and call it off. Satyam disate artitam artato naranam naivartado yata punar artito yataha swayam vidyate bhajatam achintam ichchapi dhanam nijapada pallavam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approaches him with such motives. But he does not bestow benedictions upon the devotee that will cause him to demand more benedictions again. It's more like Ravan, recall the benedictions he's been asking. Remember, he kept going, first he worshipped Brahma, and then Lord Shiva. He kept going for more and more benedictions. However, the Lord willingly gives the devotee shelter at his own lotus feet. Though we do not ask for it, the Lord, out of his causeless mercy, that's what he gives us. So even though such a person does not aspire for it, and that shelter satisfies all his desires. So what the benediction or the shelter at his lotus feet, so that is the Supreme Personality's special mercy. Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Vancha
Kalpatarushya
Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanabhayo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Namo
Namaha.
Namo.
Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda
Vrinda
ki
Jai.
Jai.
His Grace has
Prabhupada ki
Ki Jai.
jai.
ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur
Hare
Premanande
Krishna.
Hari
Hari
Hari.
Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.